Greetings and welcome to Elect Connect, a candidate forum hosted by the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. I'm Mary Morgan, the Chamber's Director of Public Policy and Advocacy, and we're here with Kara Crothy, who's a candidate in the Democratic Party primary for Monroe County Circuit Court Judge, Division 8. First, I'd like to thank our sponsors for Elect Connect. Without them, this would not be possible. The sponsors are German American Bank, Bunger and Robertson, City of Bloomington, Hoosier Energy, Indiana University, and Smithville. And again, we will be talking now with Kara Crothy. I'm always afraid I'm going to get that name wrong. A Democratic Party primary candidate for the Monroe County Circuit Court, Division 8. Welcome. Thanks for coming and talking with us today.
Thanks to the Chamber for having me today.
Sure. I'd like to start out by just asking you to please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in running for this particular office.
Okay. My name is Kara Crothy, and I'm running, as you said, for Judge in Division 8, Monroe Circuit Judge. I am a lifelong Democrat who grew up here in Bloomington. I went to public schools here. I graduated from Bloomington North in 1988, and I went to college in Smith College in Massachusetts, and then I came back to Bloomington after college and worked for 5 years. I was a court reporter for Judge Randy Bridges, and I decided that experience sort of inspired me to go to law school, so I decided to go to law school. And when I graduated, I started working. I've been practicing attorney now for 19 years, civil law and criminal law, but the last 16 years I've been at the Monroe County Public Defender's Office as an attorney there. And I decided to run for judge because I wanted to become more involved in my community and more involved in the decisions that are being made, particularly regarding the justice system.
Great. Well, somewhat related to that question, if you could just tell us a little bit more about how your background and experiences make you best suited for this position. Sure.
I think that because I've had both civil and criminal law experience, that makes me well suited. It's kind of difficult to explain. It's like applying for a job that you don't know what you'll be doing, because when a judge is elected in Monroe County, they decide based on seniority what caseload that judge will have. So I might have civil law, I might have criminal law. I won't know until, if I was elected, I wouldn't know until then. So I've had, like I said, I had civil law experience. I've also practiced in the federal courts in the Northern District of Indiana before I came back to Bloomington. And then, like I said, I've been at the Public Defender's Office for 16 years. And we do civil cases and criminal cases because we represent parents in CHINS cases, which are Children in Need of Services cases, and that's civil law. So I have to know how to practice both civil and criminal law.
Okay.
Also, we have really large caseloads in the Public Defender's Office, so I'm really good at managing my time and efficiently managing a court schedule, which is what judges have to do on a daily basis.
Good. So what do you think are the biggest challenges facing our local judicial system? And as a judge, what would you do to address those challenges?
I think currently the biggest challenge we have as a community and also as a court system is the opioid epidemic that's facing our community. It's increased our caseloads by tremendous amounts. I know when I started at the Public Defender's Office, we had 8 attorneys. We have 16 now. So, you know, I think finding ways as a community to get people into treatment and keep them out of jails is my main focus. I was a member of the Monroe County Drug Court team for 7 years, and that's a problem-solving court that we have here in Monroe County. They use evidence-based practices to get better results for people, so it reduces recidivism. And when we reduce recidivism, it's better for the community because people aren't out there committing crimes, and they're, you know, working and paying taxes, and it's better for all of Bloomington if we can get. So my main focus is to keep problem-solving courts and expand on them in Monroe County and find ways to get people the treatment they need so that they're not committing crimes, and we're not putting people in jail for low-level offenses and finding treatment for them to get them back on a more productive path.
I think you've touched on this a bit in your previous answer, but jail overcrowding has been an ongoing struggle in Monroe County. How would you work to address this issue?
Well, as I said, I'd like to keep problem-solving courts, expand on them if we can. There is a program that they're doing in Chicago right now. It's a restorative justice problem-solving court, and it focuses on 18 to 24-year-olds. So I'd be interested in seeing if we could get a grant for something, so a program sort of like that. That keeps younger offenders in some sort of programming. It also keeps them from having a felony on their record, which would help them in their lives and in our community here, help them get a job, help them get housing, that sort of thing. And also another thing to keep jail overcrowding down that we're doing is we have this pilot project called the Pretrial Release Project. And that's where it reduces the need for monetary bond in a lot of cases. And so people who can't afford bond are able to get out of jail sooner. And it also, they have programming for them if they need it, depending on their level of risk. They have programming that they're doing in the meantime, and that's supposed to reduce recidivism and keep our jail population down, which I think it's succeeding. So I'd like to keep that program in Monroe County.
You've alluded to this in some of your previous answers, but the circuit court does not operate in a vacuum, obviously. What changes need to be made in the community to support the judicial system? And then related to that, what kind of state level changes would you like us to advocate for?
Well, I mean, I think that the judicial system, especially the criminal justice system, like I said, we're being affected by this opioid disorder. And unfortunately, when people get to the state where we see them, it's kind of on the tail end of things. So if there's anything we can do as a community to bring treatment to them sooner, that would be good. Some sort of treatment center. I know they're doing that Stride Coalition project, but I don't believe that started yet because I think it was supposed to start this spring, but obviously with the COVID situation. So I'm interested to see how that works. And then at the state level, obviously, if we had more funding for programs in our towns that would help youth, I think that would be good to keep people from getting involved in substance abuse in the first place. If there's anything we can do on, in the early education level to help them, Parks and Rec or whatever programs that we need to spend money on here locally that can direct people in a more positive direction and keep them off of drugs in the first place, I think that would be valuable.
Outside of the legal community, a lot of people don't really know how the Monroe County Circuit Court operates or what it does. What are the most important things do you think the public should know about the Circuit Court?
Well, we have a unified court system, but we have 9 judges, and we do criminal. They're split up sort of criminal and then civil law. It used to be back when I was a court reporter that all the judges did all the different types of cases, and they just rotated on a weekly basis. But now it's more divided into what they do, which is actually probably better because they can be more specialized in what they're doing. And we handle a large number of cases for all of Monroe County, and I think that currently our Board of Judges seems to be working really well together, and I think that judges, serve an important role on a daily basis in all kinds of cases that we might not even think about. Like I was talking to someone who went in for a name change, and that's not something you would normally think about as something that the courts are dealing with, but they're dealing with small claims and name changes and then bigger civil suits, and then obviously cases that affect our community that you would, normally, like the situation with the parking garage downtown. That's a situation that a judge had to deal with in a civil law case. So I mean, everything that happens in Monroe County generally goes through the court system. So that's how I'd answer that.
Well, that concludes our questions. Is there anything you'd like to add or any final thoughts you'd like to share?
I guess I would just like to encourage people to early vote this year. I think you might be touching on this later, but the election has been moved to June 2nd. And to request an absentee ballot, you need to do that by May 21st. And I would just ask everyone to please consider voting for me. And if you have any questions, you feel free to email me at karakrothyforjudge@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much. And as a reminder, we've been talking with Kara Crothy, who's a candidate in the Democratic Party primary for Monroe County Circuit Court Division 8. Again, another shout out to our sponsors for Elect Connect, German American Bank, Bunger and Robertson, the City of Bloomington, Hoosier Energy, Indiana University, and Smithville. And then finally, as Kara mentioned, we'd encourage everybody to vote by mail on the June 2nd primary. All voters are eligible, all registered voters are eligible to vote by mail. You can get more information from the county election office at monroecountyvoters.us. And we'll have more information as well about the candidates and voting process on our chamber website, chamberbloomington.org/2020-primary-election. Thanks again for joining us.